Alright, everybody, today we are reacting to Zack D Films. But if you're new to this channel, like and subscribe. Let's get started.
Something as she was helping in the garden. She thought it was a rock at first, but when she pulled it out, it was cold and heavy. She immediately ran over and handed it to her father. He kept a straight face, but he was just...
Wait, what? What is that? Comment below if you know what is that. I still don't know.
as confused. Later that evening, he was seriously injured in a work accident and declared dead. Until later, he literally walked out of the morgue.
This will take a few seconds. Okay, so we're back.
He was seriously injured in a work accident and declared dead. Until later, he literally walked out of the morgue. Next, he died of malaria, but woke up inside his coffin. A year later, a car crash killed him, but he came back to life, and after a venomous snake bite, he spent 3 days in the morgue before waking up. Then he fell into a deep toilet pit full of toxic waste, but survived again. The villagers believed he was a ghost and set his home on fire to kill him once and for all. But he woke up in the morgue again, defeating death 6 times. Now his neighbors fear him, and he's forced to live alone, all because he cheated death too many times. He was seriously injured. He saw that the horseshoe was missing a nail right before he was supposed to leave. You see, he was carrying gold to make a deal in the next town, and he knew he should fix the horseshoe, but he wanted to get there quickly to finish the deal, so he just left. Hours later, that loose shoe fell off, and the horse was stepping on bare hoof, but he decided to ignore it again, since he was already close to town. But then the horse started limping before it collapsed and broke its leg. Now, with no horse, he had to carry the gold himself. Too late.
First of all, why did she ignore the shoe? Second of all, that's so sad for the horse. Let's just go, man.
Deal was gone, all because he ignored a small problem that grew until it cost him everything. He saw that the horseshoe was missing a nail right before he was supposed to leave. You see, slide the cards into this gap one at a time until no more cards fit. Now count how many cards are in the gap and divide that number by 2. Slide half the stack to one side and the other half to the other, so the gap on both sides is exactly the same. Next, press the door up toward the top of the frame and do the same thing for the bottom gap. Mark where the hinges will sit and screw them into place. Now pull the cards out, and the cabinet door will be perfectly centered. Slide the cards into this gap one at a time.
Alright, we're back.
Started digging and just didn't stop. You might think you would eventually reach the other side of Earth, but after just a few feet, the dirt would be really hard to move. Eventually, you would hit thick, compacted rock that a shovel just can't break through. If you pushed past that with a machine and reached a few miles down, it would be hotter than boiling water. At over 20 miles deep, you would hit the mantle, where rock is so hot it flows like lava. And even if you could survive it, the pressure would crush you long before you got close to the Earth's core. If you started digging and just didn't stop, if you shoved a baby's head into a box like this, would it grow into the shape of the cube over time? I mean, farmers do this with watermelons, which forces it into a satisfying cube shape. So why wouldn't this work on a baby? Well, a baby's head has soft gaps between bone plates, which lets the skull expand as the brain grows. And technically, their skull would start to deform, but inside a watermelon is soft fruit, which can easily fill the square mold. Bone plates, on the other hand, would cause the skull to be flattened in some spots, while other areas bulge outward. This could create extreme pressure, which the baby probably wouldn't appreciate. You shoved a baby's head into her son was missing, and the police were desperate to find him. And 5 months later, police finally picked him up, almost 2,000 miles away. But when he got home, his mother claimed it wasn't her son. Regardless, the police convinced her to take him anyway, so they could close the case. 3 weeks later, she showed them dental records that proved the boy was a stranger, but they still wouldn't listen. Instead, they said she was a bad mother and threw her in a psych ward. But the boy finally admitted he was a fraud who just wanted a free trip to Hollywood, and the woman's real son was never found. Her son was missing, and when he tried pulling the master sword off his back, it got stuck, and the cosplayer could not get it out. And this revealed a problem with Zelda's animation. You see, Link can pull the sword out in one smooth motion, but if you slow it down, the sword clips through the sheath slightly. So to fix this, Smash Bros. Animated Link to pull the sheath downward with his other hand as he pulled out the sword. But even this wasn't quite enough, meaning the animation still cheats a little. When he tried pulling the master sword off his back, it got stuck, and the cosplayer could not get it out. And this revealed a problem. The implant was inserted under his skin before salt water was injected to stretch the skin around it. Then the implant was removed, and the plastic ear was placed in. His body grew new blood vessels into the ear, making it a living part of his arm. Next, a tiny microphone was installed inside to pick up sound, but after the site got infected, it was removed. Now he plans to grow an earlobe with his own cell.
We're back.
And through his third ear.
So
The implant was inserted under his skin. If you forgot where you parked, you would hit a button on your car key, and an LED light would shoot out of your car roof, while a mini siren started blasting. If you paid for premium, a drone would launch from your trunk, find you in the parking lot, and escort you back like you're being rescued. And if you still couldn't find it, the hydraulic system in your tires would activate, making the car bounce up and down to be more visible. Flares would also be launched from the roof, letting you and the police locate your vehicle. If you forgot where you parked, you would slice a dozen cuts into a wooden plank, starting 1 foot from the end, but stop just before they go all the way through. Then do the same a foot from the other end. This leaves a thin outer layer still holding everything together. Next, cover the cuts in wood glue and press them against a curved form, bending the wood. The cuts will close in on themselves, forming the 2 curved angles of a stylish side table. Slice the damaged cash is shredded into thin green strips. It's then compacted, loaded onto trucks, and dumped into a field. Then it's mixed with food scraps, leaves, and grass. Machines churn the mix into long steaming piles that slowly start to rot. And inside, the heat climbs to over 150 degrees, breaking everything down. After a few months, the paper fibers are completely gone, leaving behind dark, nutrient-rich compost known as black gold. And that compost is spread across farms and gardens, growing vegetables out of cash. The damaged cash is shredded into thin green strips. It's then compacted, loaded on.
If you love this video, like and subscribe. See you on the next